Welcome back. So in this video, we'll get the rudder done and probably get the propeller done as well. So what I'm going to do is just come to a side view again. Again, it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to put my 3D cursor, and that's what this is, by left clicking in this spot. And then that way the object that we're going to create is roughly located where we want it. Again, make sure you're in object mode because we don't want these to be joined. And what I'm going to do here is do a mesh, and this time I'm going to add a plane. So again, the plane comes in and it doesn't look quite right. We need to rotate it. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees on, there we are, on, in this case, the y-axis. So there it is there. Too big, so I'm just going to scale it down. Okay, and so that looks a reasonable size there. What I need to do though is scale it a little bit in this vertical dimension. So all I did here was change this to the scale tool. I'm going to go drag this up a bit. Again, there we are. And then just move it down a little bit. Okay. Now, it looks perfect from this position, but I'm not entirely convinced it's in the exact right spot. So I have to make sure I do two views. And this is very important. It looks fine in that spot, but to actually position it, you always have to use two views. So I did the side, and now I'm just going to drag it and place it here. Okay. You're going to say, perfect, we're done. Well, we could improve this just because it has zero depth to it. It has no thickness. And so it's, like I said, sort of say it's paper thin, and we need to give it some depth. So what do you think we're going to have to do? Good. You said extrude, and you're right. So what we're going to do is go into edit mode, and press tab. Okay. And then I'm just going to press E. And it will extrude out along one of those planes. Okay. And so then we've got a little bit of thickness to it. One little other point then is that now it's not quite centered. So I'm just going to go into edit mode and then just sort of drag it. And it should probably sort of basically center with this line. Now, one interesting point is this little dot here. This little dot is the origin point. And you can rotate this, and later we're going to rotate it, in this case along the z-axis. And what it does is it rotates around this point. Now for this one it's not a big issue. It would still look reasonably okay. But you can see that it would make more sense. It's probably attached to the center. So I'm just going to set that back to 0. I can actually change the origin. That's what this button over here does. It says set origin, and you've got a variety of choices. And because we really want it to be the middle of this object, we're going to set the origin to its geometry. And you can see it just found its exact center. And then actually that lets me position it just a little bit better. Okay, again, don't worry too much. And now when we rotate along that z-axis, it actually rotates right through its center. Okay, and that's preferable. Not a huge issue. Whoops, 0 again. But it shows up, or it works out a little bit better. Okay, next thing we're going to deal with is the propeller. So again, I'm going to put my cursor sort of down here, roughly. And we're going to start off with a tube object, or sorry, a cylinder again. Used to be called a tube. And we're going to use the same idea before. We're going to use 12 vertices, okay? So this is probably maybe the most technical one we're going to do, but it isn't that bad now that you've got some practice. So what I'm going to do again is go to add, make sure we're in object mode. So add mesh, and we're going to, excuse me, add that cylinder. Before you do anything, don't move it. Change this to 12. Okay, we're okay. Make sure it's 12. And I think we're okay again with no, this is, yeah, now that I think about it, we need to change this from N-gon to the triangle fan. I'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, now we need to rotate this obviously. So along the x-axis, we need to rotate this, so 90 degrees. Okay, so now it's sideways, and I'm just going to go into probably the back view. So Control 1 will give me the back, and I'm just going to center it to the boat. So about there, and then I'm going to scale it down a bit. Okay, I'm just going to go to the side view just to see. Probably needs to be scaled down a bit more. We're basically just going to stick it in here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, there's a few steps here to make this work. Okay. And so it will take a little bit of working here. I still think it's a little bit too much. Just going to scale it down a bit more. Okay. Tab. We're going to go into edit mode. And what I'm going to do here next is press tab again, or sorry, A again to unselect everything. Make sure you're in wireframe mode. And I'm going to box select this. I'm going to box select the side. Sorry, there we go. And I'm going to extrude a little bit. I'm going to scale it down and extrude it again. And basically, this is going to be the shaft that connects it, okay? And this is going to be actually the propeller part, okay? So I'm just going to, this is a little bit too much here, so I'm just going to press A, B to box select, drag it around, pull that in. And then I'm going to go to the back view. So Control 1, give me a back view there. Press A to unselect everything. Now, what we want to do is create sort of propeller, right? The blades of the propeller. And so to do that, what we're going to do, pretty simple here, just going to box select. Sorry, there we go. And I'm getting really these two here, okay? And all I'm going to do, one again, is just pull them down basically to the center point, right to there, okay? Then I'm going to skip over two, so press A, and then box select those two there. Do the same thing. A, box select, and just start work your way around. Okay. My mouse keeps giving up here. A, B, I think it's time for new batteries. Okay. And just bring that one in. Perfect. So let's see what this looks like. Aha! So you get a nice little propeller there. Now you can sort of do a few things to it. I think it looks better if you press B here, box select these ones, and just sort of push it in a bit like that. Again, it's a bit up to you, but you've got this sort of nice cross section here. All right, and so basically that finishes our modeling. Not too bad. What we want to do, just make sure here. Okay, there we go. Now its center got moved over here just because the way I did it. So I'm just going to go back to Tab, Set Origin, set the origin to geometry. Just sets it right in the middle. Makes it easier to locate it. Couple things that we didn't do. We didn't give this a proper name. So we'll go find where the name is here. There it is, cylinder. And so this is the propeller. Okay, and then this one up here we didn't name either. Make sure you press enter. There we go. And then this one we didn't call a rudder, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, you are finished. That placement's okay. I didn't double check my placement. Just a second there. 5. Control 3. Control 1. Sorry. Yeah. Looks pretty well centered to me. I mean, you might want to move it over tiniest little bit. But we're looking pretty good there. Okay, and then it's inside that. That's fine. That's fine. And the propeller looks good. Make sure you save. And basically, we're done the modeling. Two things that we'll do next video. One is we'll apply a smoothing to it, and so that way it looks a lot better. And the second thing that we'll do is give it some color. Can't be a yellow submarine if it's gray. All right, so see you in that video.